Warning, like the deep diving into the ocean, we're diving deep into spoilers for The Boys, so be prepared for full spoilers and details on the show. After the awe and surprises found in the first season of Amazon Prime's The Boys, we can finally slow down a little bit. Hey, take a breather there, A-Train.
You're the only person I've ever loved.
Okay, good. Now that the dust has settled a bit and all of Translucent's skin has been cleaned up, it's time to open up the doors to the surveillance van and reveal some of the biggest things you missed in The Boys Season 1. Be on the lookout for connections to Batman, Breaking Bad, and even Disney. When The Boys was first published back in 2006, the comic book series drew a lot of controversy for the graphic content. A couple of Deadpool movies later, and audiences were ready for some more risque superheroes.
You're absolutely right.
But the initial casting options had aged too much to fill the roles. Case in point, the role of Hughie. In the original comic, Hughie was modeled off of Shaun of the Dead star Simon Pegg. The likeness of the hand-drawn character and the actor was uncanny. Naturally, Pegg was a shoo-in for the role, but things didn't quite work out considering the 13-year difference between the first issue and the Amazon premiere. But all was not lost for Pegg. He was very flattered at the comic book likeness. He was cast to play the role of Hughie's father on the show. The pizza roll-loving dad was a great addition, and Pegg's hairstyle on the show is even similar to the one in the comics. The biggest difference was both Hughie and his father's accents were removed as they were given an American background instead.
You can't do this.
There's no complaints here though. Jack Quaid does an incredible job of playing Hughie and always entertains alongside all of his scenes with Pegg.
Good for you.
The Boys kicks off in one of the more surprising ways, especially if you've never read the comics. As Hughie walks down the street with the love of his life, Robin, her body gets blasted through by a train.
Don't you ever besmirch Billy.
Only leaving Hughie clutching her lifeless hands. While we marveled at the slow motion effects and horror of the moment, it was pretty easy to miss out on the clever Batman reference. Robin's full name is Robin Ward, a clear connection to the 1960s superhero series. The Robin is clearly a reference to Batman's trusty sidekick, and the Ward part refers to Robin portrayer Burt Ward.
Oh dear, dear Robin.
Translucent was a completely new character created for the television series, and unfortunately, we didn't get to see very much of him. Correction, we actually got to see all of him multiple times, considering he cannot wear clothes for his powers to fully work. Let's reword that. Unfortunately, he didn't get as much screen time as the rest of the characters because a bomb was shoved up his backside and Hughie reached his breaking point by finally pulling the trigger. The moment was great, and once again covered Hughie in a bath of crimson red. But we have some questions about the explosion in question. The whole reason for the rear entry of the explosion was because Translucent skin was as strong as diamonds. If this was the case, wouldn't everything that exploded inside him pretty much remain an internal explosion?
I'm not the one who's trapped.
Shortly after Hughie pulls the trigger, Frenchie and Billy Butcher come in for the cleanup job. They are literally sweeping and scrubbing pieces of skin to dispose of. While a scene about sweeping up pieces of a body certainly seem unique, this one may have felt a little familiar. The reason? There was a scene almost exactly like it on the series Breaking Bad. On the show, we watch as Jesse and Walter clean up Emilio's body parts. But the connection goes beyond just the gruesome cleanup job. The Boys' Get Some episode writer was George Mastras. In the years before writing on The Boys, he also wrote for Breaking Bad.
So there's that.
And now let's go from Breaking Bad to Disney. After Starlight reveals her secret identity when attacking two predatory men,
I'm done pretending.
it's time for a major makeover for the up-and-coming superhero. Cue in the character Isadora. Isadora was an original creation for the TV show. While the writers found no inspiration for her from the comic, they did turn to a certain Disney and Pixar movie, The Incredibles. If you hadn't guessed it by now, Isadora is clearly inspired by Edna, the costume designer for most of the heroes in the movie.
You're the best of the best,
Yes,
E.
I know, darling.
With Seth Rogen's name attached to The Boys, you knew the comedic actor was going to bring a lot of fun to the table. The one part he did appear in was a small piece of promotional material hyping up the VCU and the fictional film Black Noir Insurrection.
It's really exciting. It's my first movie with in the Vought cinematic universe.
Well, Seth still made his mark on the show, including a fun Easter egg. During one of Starlight's meetings, the same one where she got her new outfit, we meet up with two marketing writers from Vought.
This is Seth and Evan from marketing. They have some brilliant ideas on how to capitalize on all the buzz.
This was done completely on purpose. The name Seth was given as a nod to Rogen, while Evan was given as a nod to Evan Goldberg. Rogen and Goldberg are producing partners and help bring The Boys to life. In season 1 of The Boys, Elizabeth Shue stole nearly every scene she was in as the powerful vice president of Vought, Madeline Stillwell.
That little kid is gonna drink my goddamn milk. It's the last thing I do.
Madeline is the tough-as-nails mother who must manage all of these heroes, make deals, and ensure everything goes smoothly with the Seven. Early on in the season, she runs into some problems with Translucent after he disappears. This seems like a problem she's dealt with in the past, and for many horror movie fans, they've actually seen her deal with this problem on the big screen. Shue starred alongside Kevin Bacon in the 2000 film Hollow Man.
He's trying like hell to fix you.
Or kill me.
Kevin Bacon definitely caused her a lot more problems in that movie than Translucent did on The Boys, but Shue has learned how to act alongside an invisible character for quite some time now.
You're the first.
In both The Boys and Hollow Man, both invisible characters have an explosive ending, with neither surviving to live another day. It's not every day you get to act with an invisible co-star, but Shue is kind of making a career of it.
Can't close my eyes.
You can, but your eyelids are transparent.
While the show clearly does have a lot of parodies on the MCU and other Marvel characters, there are a few smaller moments that also act as nods to these movies. One of the best can be found in the episode The Self-Preservation Society. If the mansion owned by Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum looks familiar, it's because the famous estate has been used as an exterior location for a number of movies. Sticking with the superhero genre, you can spot the mansion in films like X-Men.
What is this place?
And Bulletproof Monk. Known as the Parkwood Estate, The Boys could help put the building back on the map because one of its most iconic uses was in the Adam Sandler comedy Billy Madison.
Stop looking at me, Swan!
The mansion is used for multiple shots and scenes within the film.
Shut up!
And despite being featured in states like Connecticut on The Boys, the mansion itself is actually located in Ontario, Canada. This showcases how versatile the classic home is. So the next time you see a real nice mansion in a movie or TV show, it could very well be the Parkwood Estate. Side note, want to feel even more connected to The Boys? The estate is often open for tours. One of the best parts of The Boys was seeing all the little details the show's creators put in to make the universe feel real. Our heroes had posters, t-shirts, Funko Pop figures, and all sorts of advertisements. We saw clips from The Tonight Show.
No, I don't actually vanish. My skin turns into this carbon metamaterial.
And the VCU felt just as real as the MCU. All of these little details really help bring the show to life and establish our characters without the need for too much backstory or exposition. Take, for example, A-Train's huge race. Who needs to watch Usain Bolt when A-Train can run faster than a speeding bullet? In the hype and build up to A-Train's big race, we saw multiple clips on ESPN. In typical ESPN fashion, headlines and ticker news runs all over the scene. If you read closely, you could spot one event that probably wasn't getting as much attention as the race. The one we're talking about is the Deep's Fishing Contest. The small headline is easy to skip over, but has a lot of creative details we can just imagine seeing. We can imagine the contest involving the Deep catching fish by hand while taking on some of the world's best fishermen. And how great would it have been to have seen the Deep rise out of the water with a great white shark? Then again, fishing shows on TV are never too exciting, so we imagine the Deep's challenge was relegated to ESPN3 and why A-Train's race was the top story. The Boys has already found connections to other shows like Breaking Bad and is from one of the guys who brought you Preacher.
Was it?
But what other shows could it connect to? While you may assume they would toss a shout out to other Amazon Prime shows like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
He cheated on me.
Il m'a trompé.
That's a bad thing.
C'est une mauvaise chose.
that's not what the show did. Instead, there is a major connection to Supernatural. The Boys creator Eric Kripke also created Supernatural and showcases his love for the classic series.
Because they're my boys.
The long-running CW show is set for its final season, and we may know where one character is headed. In the final episode of the first season, we meet the character Secretary of Defense Robert Singer. The actor portraying Singer is Jim Beaver. Supernatural fans would instantly recognize him because he plays Bobby Singer on Supernatural. It's practically the same name. And while his appearance may have been short, Beaver is returning for season 2, meaning we could get more Supernatural connections and Easter eggs.
Glad I saved the best for last.
Wow, there was so much packed into the first 8 episodes of The Boys. We already cannot wait for season 2. What was your favorite part of the show? Any Easter eggs that we missed? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content. Thanks for watching.